Okay, before continuing with the body, I would first like to lay out the extremities, the hands and the feet, so we will roughly know how this guy will look at the end. So let's have a look at our reference images. Yeah, I like this one, this shell. That looks cool, but our reference images don't give us exact information on how the fingers will look. Maybe it's because of the low resolution, or AI in general messes up big time when it comes to generating hands. Let's see the other robots. I mean, look at the thumb, it's far too long. Our guy looks better, but nevertheless we don't know how the palm will look. So we have to make up something on our own. Let's have a look at this guy. Here again, it's not obvious what's going on there. So we cannot rely on these reference images. But I like this part, like I said. Let's start with this one and let's see where the journey is going. So therefore I will first create a simple line, a curve, with the spline curve. So click 3 times, press OK. Let me show you the difference between the spline curve and the control point curve, which lives also here under the spline curve. Create a control point curve also by clicking 3 times. Press OK and go to control point mode. You can see that the control point curve doesn't act as independent as the spline curve. The spline curve creates its own curvature and its own control points. So if you remember, we have clicked 3 times, but the spline curve has created 4 control points. Unlike the control point curve, here you get what you click. So here you have more control over your curve, and here you have a more independent curvature, so to speak. In this case, I like the result of the spline curve. And pipe this one right away. Press P for pipe. Drag out something like this, and this time we will also play with the scale. So what happens if we type in 2? So the bottom part becomes thicker. If we type in 0.5, it becomes smaller, obviously. So we will go with 2, and we don't need these faces because it will be a hollow. So we can delete both faces by selecting them in face mode, and then Shift X in solid mode we can scale. And by now you know the basic drills with rotate and scaling and moving. Right view, I will scale this part along the x-axis, so SX. Sorry, along the y-axis in this case, so S. I want to drag along this handle, which is the y-axis in this case. So I have to have a cut like this, which goes in this direction, maybe with a cylinder. So let's try. Let's create a cylinder. So create a cylinder. And here you can see the V for vertical, horizontal. Let's press V for changing the direction. So the first click, and here is the second click. And by the way, the same goes also for the center circle. So if you press Shift C and drag a center circle, but you want this one to look to the other direction, you can press V, boom. Just a side note. Okay, in solid mode, let's select the cylinder. Let's see what we get if we cut this sheet with this solid. Select both of them, Shift H for isolating, right view, make something like this from the front view. Okay, this doesn't give us an idea, but nevertheless, let's keep on the X-ray activated, rotate the cylinder. And now let's cut this one. So select this sheet, press Q and select the target body, press OK. And now we have this cut. And if we don't like the result, we can always go back. That's what I will do. And I won't edit out this part because making experiments is part of the game. Okay. Now again, let's repeat the Boolean operation with Q, select the kata, press OK. Okay, that looks good.